The woman had just sat in the new car her husband had just bought, but to her surprise, a terrifying countdown appeared in the car. At that moment, a bomb disposal expert realized the car might have a timed bomb planted in it, and she knew exactly what would happen once the countdown reached 0. To prevent an accident, she quickly signaled her husband outside to check the car for any issues. However, her husband thought she was joking. Only when he saw the countdown on the screen did he realize the seriousness of the situation. But just then, Annie noticed a flashing red light inside the storage compartment. To confirm her suspicions, Annie carefully took out a card to test. After confirming that the storage compartment wasn't connected to any wires, she slowly opened it, but to her surprise, she found a circuit board inside. At the same time, her husband sent Annie a picture of the car's underside. However, when Annie glanced at the picture, she was stunned because she discovered that there was an anti-tank mine underneath the car. This type of mine is extremely powerful. It can easily destroy a heavy tank. With little time left on the countdown, Annie quickly called her colleague Jim. When Jim learned about Annie's dangerous situation, he arrived in less than 10 minutes. Seeing the countdown with only 20 minutes left, Jim immediately took out professional detection equipment and began carefully inspecting the mine under the car. However, when he saw the anti-tank mine, he suddenly felt a wave of fear. He wanted to hand this over to the firefighters, but it would take at least 20 minutes for them to arrive. There wasn't enough time. Seeing that Annie and her family's lives were in danger, Jim had no choice but to take matters into his own hands. But just as Jim was about to inspect the mine under the car, he suddenly realized in horror that the mine's outer casing had his company's information on it. Realizing that his company must know about this, he quickly called his boss, but to their surprise, the next moment, a phone started ringing from the trunk. The boy quickly opened the backseat partition, only to discover the boss's severed hand falling out. Clearly, this was a premeditated assassination attempt to disable the mine under the car. Jim quickly called his assistant and brought more advanced detection equipment. After a thorough inspection, they quickly discovered the 4 wires connected to the mine. Annie thought cutting the blue wire on the panel would stop the countdown, but Jim said the yellow wire was the one connected to the mine. The other wires were just decoy traps. Seeing that Annie wasn't listening, Jim had no choice but to release a bomb disposal robot to send its probe under the car and attempt to cut the yellow wire on the panel. At this point, everyone was too scared to even breathe. However, when the yellow wire was cut, the countdown continued, with only about a minute left. Jim grabbed a pair of pliers and crawled into the car, planning to cut the blue wire that Annie had mentioned with his hands. But just as he was about to act, his hands started shaking violently due to the tension. Finally, with only 4 seconds left on the countdown, he managed to cut the green wire under the car. And as the green wire was cut, the countdown froze at the final 4 seconds. Annie never imagined her judgment would fail.